somos los mismos. Que de verdad termina nuestra historia.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Our Fault is a Spanish romantic drama film released in 2025, serving as the third and final installment of the Culpables trilogy, based on the best-selling novels by Mercedes Ron. The movie was directed by Domingo Gonzalez with a screenplay co-written by Gonzalez and Sofia Cuenca, and it was produced by Poughkeepsie Films, the production company founded by Alex de la Iglesia and Carolina Bang. The trilogy became an international phenomenon on streaming platforms thanks to its intense romance, emotional drama, and the chemistry between its lead characters, drawing millions of viewers worldwide into the story that began with My Fault in 2023, continued with Your Fault in 2024, and concluded with Our Fault in 2025. The final film was released globally on Amazon Prime Video on October 16, 2025, and was available for streaming in more than 240 countries and territories, appealing to fans of romantic drama and young adult adaptations alike. The story picks up 4 years after the breakup of the central couple, Noah and Nick, portrayed by Nicole Wallace and Gabriel Guevara respectively. In the previous films, their relationship developed from uneasy step-siblings to passionate lovers, driven by both attraction and conflict, and their separation at the end of Your Fault left unanswered questions and unresolved feelings. At the beginning of Our Fault, Noah and Nick have gone their separate ways. Nick has grown into his role as the heir to a powerful business empire managed by his family, shouldering responsibility and focusing on his future, while Noah has been building her own life, pursuing her career and personal growth independently. Their paths cross again at the wedding of their mutual friends, Jenna and Lion, an event that becomes the emotional center of the film and the catalyst for their long-awaited reunion. At this wedding, memories, regrets, and unresolved tensions resurface, and what was once a simple celebration becomes the stage for a profound emotional reckoning between two people whose bond refuses to be forgotten. The emotional landscape of the film is shaped by the characters' complicated history. For years of distance have left deep marks. Nick struggles with lingering resentment and questions about forgiveness, while Noah faces her own doubts about whether their past love can ever genuinely be rekindled. The wedding setting brings both joy and pain as old wounds reopen, forcing them to confront not only their memories of each other but also the ways in which they have changed and grown since their breakup. Their reunion is not smooth or simple. Beneath the surface of polite interactions lies a tension that threatens to disrupt the happiness of those around them. Both characters must decide whether the love that once defined them is worth risking again or whether the pain of past mistakes is too heavy to bear. Alongside Noah and Nick, a host of supporting characters enrich the narrative and add texture to the emotional conflicts in the movie. Returning cast members from the previous films include Marta Hazas, Yvonne Sanchez, Victor Varona, Eva Ruiz, and others who have been part of the story's universe since the beginning. New figures also enter the mix, such as Simon, portrayed by Fran Morcillo, whose presence introduces fresh dynamics and complications into Noah and Nick's lives. These relationships and interactions provide additional layers to the core romance, illuminating themes such as loyalty, forgiveness, new beginnings, and the lingering power of first love. The interplay between characters highlights not only romantic entanglements but also deep personal bonds, showing how friendships and shared history influence the choices that Noah and Nick are forced to make. The filmmaking style blends emotional intensity with visually engaging storytelling. Scenes range from intimate conversations and charged glances to grand wedding moments that accentuate both joy and tension. The cinematography often underscores the contrast between the characters' inner turmoil and the beauty of their surroundings, whether in scenic locations or polished interiors. The musical score supports key emotional beats, enhancing moments of tenderness, conflict, and reflection. This combination of visual and auditory elements is designed to draw viewers deeply into the emotional arc of the story, from the ache of lingering regret to the hope of reconciliation. The official trailer for the film was released in September 2025 and gave audiences their first substantial glimpse of how Noah and Nick's reunion would unfold. It depicted scenes in which both characters appear to have moved on with their lives, yet the chemistry between them remains powerful and unresolved. The teaser focuses on tension, recollection, and the emotional weight of their past, hinting at both potential reconciliation and heartache. Fans dissected every frame for clues about the final direction of the plot, fueling anticipation in the weeks leading up to the film's premiere. The entire trilogy is an adaptation of a series of novels that gained popularity for their immersive storytelling, passionate romance, and intense character relationships. The books and films alike explore themes that resonate strongly with young adult audiences, such as identity, choice, loyalty, betrayal, and the complexities of love that defies societal norms and personal boundaries. The cinematic adaptations have dramatically expanded the reach of Mercedes Ron's story, drawing global viewership and inspiring dedicated fan communities. The trilogy's success even led to an English-language adaptation, which premiered in early 2025 and brought the same central narrative to a new cultural context. When the film premiered on October 16, 2025, it was made available exclusively on Amazon Prime Video, meaning that audiences worldwide could stream the movie from their homes without the traditional theatrical release model. Viewers across different regions were able to watch the film with language and subtitle options catering to international audiences. This release strategy reflects the evolving landscape of film distribution in the digital age, where streaming platforms can launch major films to global audiences simultaneously, maximizing reach and viewer engagement. The reception of the film has been varied. Many longtime fans of the books and previous films embraced the conclusion, appreciating the emotional depth and the opportunity to see Noah and Nick's story reach a definitive endpoint. For followers of the trilogy, the movie delivered closure while highlighting the intense connection that defined the couple's journey. However, some critics and viewers who were less attached to the preceding storylines found the final chapter's narrative choices and melodramatic moments less compelling, suggesting that understanding the emotional stakes requires familiarity with the earlier installments of the series. Despite these differing opinions, the film remains a significant cultural touchpoint for fans of contemporary romantic drama, especially within the global streaming landscape where non-English language films have increasingly found broad audiences. Overall, the movie stands as a dramatic and emotionally charged conclusion to one of the most talked-about romantic film trilogies of the mid-2020s, weaving together passion, heartbreak, forgiveness, and the enduring influence of first love in a story that spans friendship, family, and personal growth. Our Fault begins several years after the events of the previous film, Your Fault, immediately immersing viewers in the emotional aftermath of Noah and Nick's separation. Noah has spent the past 4 years focusing on her education and building a career, striving to reclaim her independence and redefine her sense of self. Her time apart from Nick has given her perspective, but also a lingering ache for the intimacy and intensity of their past relationship. Nick, on the other hand, has been thrust into the responsibilities of managing his family's business empire, a position that demands not only strategic thinking and leadership but also the suppression of personal desires and emotional vulnerability. The distance has hardened him in many ways, cultivating a carefully controlled public image while leaving his private heart restless and incomplete. Despite the years that have passed, fate conspires to bring them together again at the wedding of Jenna and Lion, their closest friends and constant observers of their tumultuous history. The wedding, lavish and filled with laughter, music, and celebration, acts as both a literal and metaphorical stage for the characters' emotions to collide. As Noah and Nick navigate the carefully curated joy around them, memories of past betrayals, misunderstandings, and profound love resurface with an intensity that neither can ignore. The film explores the complexity of their reunion with an unflinching gaze at the emotional nuances that define long-term relationships marked by both passion and conflict. The tension between Noah and Nick is palpable, emerging in fleeting glances, hesitant conversations, and charged silences that speak louder than words. Even their friends notice the invisible thread connecting them, oscillating between curiosity, amusement, and concern. Noah's closest allies encourage her to approach the situation with caution, mindful of the history of heartbreak and betrayal that has defined her relationship with Nick. Nick, similarly, is guided by a sense of duty and unresolved longing, knowing that his presence at the wedding is bound by loyalty to friends but also by the unspoken pull of past love. Each interaction is layered with internal dialogue, reflecting the push and pull between desire and fear, hope and skepticism. These moments are underscored by cinematographic choices that highlight physical distance and emotional proximity simultaneously, often framing the characters in long shots that emphasize isolation followed by intimate close-ups that reveal vulnerability, capturing the duality of their emotional states. Supporting characters play a crucial role in the narrative, shaping the protagonist's decisions and influencing the emotional texture of the film. Simon, a new character introduced as a friend and potential love interest for Noah, brings a dynamic tension to the story. His presence challenges both Noah's emotional stability and her perception of love, serving as a foil to Nick and forcing her to confront the unresolved feelings that still bind her to him. Jenna and Lion, central to the social setting of the wedding, function as both catalysts and commentators, their own relationship providing contrast to Noah and Nick's tumultuous romance. Subplots involving secondary characters, such as family obligations, professional challenges, and past secrets resurfacing, add depth to the narrative, illustrating how love exists within a network of social, familial, and professional pressures. These layers of conflict and support weave together to create a rich, multidimensional portrayal of relationships that extend beyond the central romance, demonstrating the interconnectivity of life, love, and personal growth. The filmmakers employ a visual and auditory style that reinforces the emotional resonance of the story. Music is carefully curated to accentuate moments of tension, heartbreak, and joy, often juxtaposing subtle, contemplative scores with powerful, sweeping compositions during climactic confrontations or revelations. The wedding itself is depicted as a sensory feast, with elegant decor, vibrant color palettes, and meticulous attention to detail, creating a backdrop that amplifies the emotional stakes of the characters' interactions. The editing rhythmically alternates between slow, intimate shots that dwell on personal expression and quicker, dynamic cuts that mirror the tension and uncertainty in the characters' lives. This combination of visual language, sound design, and narrative pacing ensures that the audience is deeply immersed in the psychological and emotional journey of Noah and Nick, making their struggles and triumphs feel immediate and authentic. As the story unfolds, Noah and Nick confront a series of challenges that test the strength and authenticity of their renewed connection. Past betrayals, misunderstandings, and unspoken grievances rise to the surface, demanding acknowledgement and resolution. The film meticulously explores the psychology of forgiveness, highlighting how love is not merely a feeling but a deliberate act of choice that requires courage, empathy, and vulnerability. Characters navigate the delicate balance between asserting personal boundaries and embracing emotional openness, reflecting the real-world complexity of reconciling past wounds with present desires. These themes are echoed in smaller interactions between supporting characters, whose own experiences with trust, loyalty, and love mirror and reinforce the central narrative, creating a tapestry of interwoven emotional arcs that enrich the film's thematic depth. Noah's journey is portrayed as one of growth, self-discovery, and empowerment. While she is deeply affected by her reunion with Nick, she is not portrayed as passive or dependent. Rather, the narrative emphasizes her agency in navigating complex emotional terrain. Her professional achievements, personal insights, and moral choices serve as both a contrast and a complement to Nick's arc, showcasing the ways in which two individuals can evolve separately yet remain intrinsically connected. Nick's arc, conversely, focuses on reconciling his public responsibilities with private desires, confronting vulnerabilities that he has long suppressed, and learning to communicate with honesty and emotional integrity. The interplay between these arcs culminates in moments of cathartic confrontation, heartfelt reconciliation, and profound emotional revelation, which are meticulously constructed to provide a satisfying resolution to the trilogy while maintaining the tension and realism that have characterized the series. The film's climax is carefully orchestrated, blending narrative, visual, and emotional elements to deliver a powerful and memorable resolution. Long-standing conflicts are addressed through both dialogue and symbolic gestures, creating a layered understanding of the characters' growth and relational dynamics. The resolution is neither simplistic nor melodramatic. It acknowledges the complexity of love, the inevitability of human imperfection, and the enduring impact of shared history. Noah and Nick's final interactions reflect a mature understanding of each other and themselves, suggesting that love, while challenging and at times painful, can also be sustaining and transformative. The conclusion provides emotional closure for the audience, tying together the threads of romance, personal development, and social context that have been carefully woven throughout the trilogy. As the wedding progresses, the film interweaves flashbacks that provide crucial context for Noah and Nick's fraught relationship. These sequences explore key moments from the previous films, showing not only the intensity of their initial attraction but also the misunderstandings and choices that led to their breakup. In these flashbacks, viewers see the evolution of trust and tension, the exhilaration of first love, and the pain of betrayal, offering insight into why each character responds as they do in the present timeline. The cinematography for these flashbacks often employs warm, nostalgic tones and softer lighting, contrasting with the more structured, high-stakes visuals of the wedding day. This deliberate visual differentiation allows the audience to feel the emotional weight of past events while remaining grounded in the current narrative, heightening the stakes of each interaction between Noah and Nick. Secondary characters are given moments that illuminate their influence on the protagonist's choices. Jenna and Lyon's relationship, now firmly established, serves as a mirror to Noah and Nick, highlighting both what is possible and what has been lost. Their unwavering support and occasional interventions subtly guide the protagonists toward self-reflection and reconciliation. Simon's role is pivotal in challenging Noah to evaluate her feelings objectively. His respectful attentiveness and contrasting personality force Noah to recognize the depth of her unresolved attachment to Nick. By portraying Simon not as an antagonist but as a catalyst, the narrative underscores the complexity of love and the difficulty of letting go when one's heart remains entangled with the past. Family dynamics also play a significant role in shaping the emotional landscape of the film. Nick's family, emblematic of power and societal expectation, pressures him to maintain appearances and uphold their legacy, even at the expense of personal happiness. These pressures contribute to the tension in his reunion with Noah, as he oscillates between fulfilling obligations and pursuing genuine emotional fulfillment. Noah's family, meanwhile, represents grounding, personal morality, and the importance of self-respect. Through the portrayal of these familial forces, the film explores how external expectations can both hinder and motivate personal growth, framing the central romance within a broader social and psychological context. Professional ambitions and personal achievements are also woven into the narrative, reinforcing the independence and agency of both Noah and Nick. Noah's career growth is depicted not just as a backdrop but as an integral element of her character development. Her professional accomplishments reflect her resilience, intelligence, and self-sufficiency, reinforcing the notion that her life and happiness are not solely defined by romantic involvement. Similarly, Nick's navigation of his family business illustrates the duality of public responsibility and private desire, reinforcing the theme that personal growth often requires balancing competing demands. These elements enrich the narrative, making both characters fully realized individuals whose love story is compelling precisely because it is grounded in multidimensional lives. The wedding itself is portrayed as a multi-layered spectacle, full of symbolism and emotional subtext. Scenes of the ceremony, reception, and private conversations are meticulously staged to reflect both internal and external conflict. Candles flicker as characters engage in whispered conversations, soft music underscores confessions and revelations, and moments of shared glances across the room convey what dialogue often cannot express. The wedding becomes a crucible, where past grievances are confronted, emotional defenses are dismantled, and the potential for reconciliation is tested in a high-pressure social environment. These sequences are intercut with intimate one-on-one scenes between Noah and Nick, heightening the contrast between public composure and private turmoil, and allowing the audience to fully experience the complexity of their renewed connection. Throughout the film, dialogue is layered with double meanings, reflecting the characters' reluctance to fully expose their vulnerabilities while simultaneously revealing inner truths. Arguments are punctuated with unspoken regrets, confessions are hesitant, and silences are as communicative as words. The writing ensures that each interaction carries emotional weight, allowing the audience to engage deeply with the characters' internal conflicts. By showing both the spoken and unspoken dynamics, the film emphasizes that reconciliation is not instantaneous but a process, requiring both honesty and empathy. Flashbacks are strategically employed not only to reveal past missteps but also to contrast the growth each character has undergone. Viewers are reminded of moments of youthful impulsivity, jealousy, and insecurity, juxtaposed with current maturity, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. These comparisons enhance the satisfaction of the character's eventual reconciliation, demonstrating how past experiences, however painful, have contributed to the depth and authenticity of their present selves. The flashbacks also provide insight into secondary characters' motivations and relationships, illustrating how interconnected their lives are and how each decision reverberates through the social fabric of the story. The emotional crescendo of the film is carefully constructed, moving from small, intimate breakthroughs to sweeping declarations of understanding and forgiveness. Nick and Noah's interactions evolve from hesitant and guarded to open and vulnerable, culminating in moments of raw honesty that validate their shared history and the enduring nature of their bond. These climactic moments are underscored by deliberate cinematography and sound design, emphasizing the weight of emotion and the significance of their choices. The film avoids simplistic resolutions, instead portraying reconciliation as a nuanced and dynamic process, reflecting real-life complexities and enhancing narrative realism. Subplots involving secondary characters continue to intersect with the central romance, adding layers of tension and commentary. Conflicts between family members, misunderstandings among friends, and professional challenges all serve to highlight the stakes of the protagonist's decisions. These intertwined arcs emphasize that love exists within a broader ecosystem of relationships, each influencing, complicating, and enriching the main narrative. The film's structure allows viewers to invest emotionally in multiple dimensions of storytelling, heightening the impact of the central romantic resolution while providing a fully realized social and emotional context. As the story progresses, tensions that have simmered for years begin to erupt, bringing Noah and Nick face to face with the unspoken truths that have haunted them both. The wedding, initially intended as a joyful celebration, becomes the backdrop for emotional reckonings, subtle betrayals, and heartfelt confessions. A pivotal moment occurs when Noah discovers a letter Nick had written but never sent during their separation, a letter in which he expressed regrets, fears, and the depth of his love. This discovery acts as a catalyst, forcing her to confront her lingering feelings and consider the possibility that their love, though tested by time and circumstances, has endured. Simultaneously, Nick uncovers a set of decisions Noah made independently, choices that reflect both her growth and her resilience, demonstrating that she is no longer the same person who once depended on him entirely for emotional stability. These revelations create a complex emotional interplay, where longing, pride, and vulnerability collide in ways that neither character could have anticipated. The film uses these discoveries to explore themes of communication and miscommunication, illustrating how misunderstandings can shape the trajectory of relationships over years. Scenes oscillate between heated confrontations and quiet moments of introspection, allowing the audience to witness the full spectrum of emotional responses. Noah and Nick grapple with anger, regret, desire, and hope, each forced to examine not only the past but also the person they have become. Secondary characters, including Jenna, Lion, and Simon, act as mirrors and sounding boards, offering advice, expressing concern, or unintentionally provoking further tension. Their presence enriches the narrative, emphasizing that relationships are rarely isolated and that personal decisions inevitably ripple through the broader social environment. As the emotional stakes rise, the film introduces additional layers of tension through external pressures. Nick's family, observing his interactions with Noah, voices subtle disapproval and concern about the potential impact on business and reputation. Noah's own family, protective and cautious, worries about the emotional risk she is taking by reopening a past wound. These familial expectations heighten the pressure on the protagonists, forcing them to weigh their own desires against the judgments and potential consequences imposed by others. The film portrays these pressures realistically, emphasizing that love and personal fulfillment often exist in tension with societal and familial obligations, and that navigating these forces requires courage, patience, and self-awareness. A series of emotionally charged confrontations marks the narrative climax. Noah and Nick engage in extended dialogues that reveal lingering insecurities, past mistakes, and true intentions. Each exchange is layered, often beginning with defensiveness and ending in moments of sincere understanding. Physical proximity, lingering touches, and meaningful eye contact complement verbal expression, allowing the audience to perceive the depth of emotion that words alone cannot convey. These scenes are interspersed with quieter, solitary moments where each character reflects on their history and the potential future, emphasizing that reconciliation is not instantaneous but the result of deliberate introspection and emotional labor. The filmmakers carefully balance the intensity of confrontation with reflective sequences, ensuring that the emotional rhythm remains dynamic and engaging. Secret revelations further complicate the protagonist's journey. It emerges that certain decisions made by both Noah and Nick in the past were influenced by misunderstandings or the manipulation of external forces. These hidden truths, once revealed, prompt both characters to reassess past grievances and reconsider their perspectives. The narrative skillfully demonstrates how clarity and honesty can transform relationships, highlighting that many conflicts in human interaction stem from incomplete knowledge or assumptions rather than malice. The resolution of these secrets is not abrupt, it unfolds gradually, creating suspense and a heightened emotional payoff when the truth finally aligns with the character's desire for understanding and connection. Secondary storylines reach satisfying resolutions in tandem with the central romance. Jenna and Lion reaffirm the strength of their partnership, providing a model of stable love and friendship. Simon, recognizing the enduring bond between Noah and Nick, gracefully steps aside, his arc emphasizing respect, maturity, and the understanding that love is not always possessive. These intertwined resolutions reinforce the film's central themes of loyalty, forgiveness, and personal growth, showing that the culmination of one love story can harmonize with the fulfillment of other relationships, creating a holistic and emotionally satisfying narrative. The film's climax seamlessly transitions into moments of reconciliation and emotional intimacy between Noah and Nick. In these sequences, dialogue, body language, and cinematic techniques converge to portray both characters' growth, vulnerability, and renewed commitment. The audience witnesses gestures that signify trust and devotion, embraces, shared glances, and quiet assurances, that speak louder than any words. These moments are carefully crafted to communicate the depth of their connection, emphasizing that love is a living, evolving force that requires continual effort, understanding, and mutual respect. The reconciliation is realistic, grounded in the characters' history and personalities, yet infused with hope and the possibility of a shared future. As the film draws toward its conclusion, attention shifts to the aftermath of reconciliation, exploring how Noah and Nick navigate the delicate balance between their renewed love and the practical realities of life. They discuss their aspirations, their boundaries, and their commitment to supporting each other while maintaining individuality. The wedding setting concludes with a celebratory atmosphere, not as a simple romantic fantasy, but as a representation of growth, maturity, and the acknowledgement that love, while challenging, can coexist with personal fulfillment and social responsibility. Secondary characters' arcs are similarly concluded, with friendships strengthened and relationships clarified, ensuring a comprehensive emotional resolution for the ensemble. In its final moments, Our Fault emphasizes reflection and forward-looking optimism. Noah and Nick, now reconciled, demonstrate emotional resilience, understanding that love is both a journey and a conscious choice. Their story underscores the themes of forgiveness, personal growth, and the enduring impact of shared experiences. The film leaves viewers with a sense of closure, not only for the romantic arc but for the broader network of relationships and conflicts that have shaped the trilogy. It portrays the complexities of young adult love in a manner that is emotionally authentic, narratively satisfying, and visually compelling, affirming the trilogy's place as a significant cultural and cinematic achievement within contemporary romantic drama. After the emotionally charged confrontations and reconciliations, the narrative delves into the finer details of the wedding festivities, highlighting the social and personal dynamics that shape each character's experience. The morning of the wedding is portrayed with careful attention to atmosphere, showcasing the nervous excitement of the participants, the meticulous preparation of the venue, and the intimate moments behind the scenes. Noah observes the flurry of activity with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, reflecting internally on the choices that have led her back into Nick's orbit. She recalls past moments of joy, betrayal, and growth, recognizing how much she has changed over the years. Her thoughts oscillate between hope and fear, illustrating the complex emotional landscape she must navigate. Nick, meanwhile, is preoccupied with the formalities of the event, balancing his responsibilities toward family and friends with the magnetic pull he feels toward Noah. His internal monologue reveals regret, longing, and determination, demonstrating that beneath the polished exterior lies a vulnerability that only Noah can truly access. Throughout the day, minor characters play subtle yet significant roles in influencing the protagonist's journey. Friends offer advice, tease playfully, or provide quiet support, each interaction contributing to the emotional rhythm of the story. For instance, a brief exchange between Noah and a longtime friend sparks a memory that prompts her to confront lingering doubts about Nick's intentions. Similarly, Nick's interactions with an older family member highlight generational expectations, adding depth to his internal conflict between personal desire and social duty. These smaller scenes, while seemingly peripheral, enrich the narrative by illustrating the interconnectedness of relationships and the ways in which external forces shape personal choices. The ceremony itself is described in vivid detail, emphasizing the sensory experience and its impact on the characters' emotional states. The decor, flowers, lighting, and seating arrangements, serves not only as a backdrop but as a symbolic reflection of the order and beauty of human connection. Noah and Nick are often placed in the frame in ways that underscore their emotional distance and proximity, visually representing the tension and intimacy of their relationship. Moments such as the exchange of glances across the aisle, a hand brushing against another, or a shared smile in a fleeting moment of recognition are amplified through cinematic technique, drawing the audience into the subtleties of human emotion. These small gestures accumulate, creating a tapestry of connection that runs parallel to the more overt romantic narrative. Between ceremony and reception, the film explores private reflections that deepen character development. Noah experiences moments of introspection, revisiting her memories of their early relationship, the miscommunications that drove them apart, and the personal growth she has achieved in his absence. She contemplates the balance between love and independence, recognizing that while her feelings for Nick remain profound, she must maintain her sense of self and personal agency. Nick's private reflections mirror hers, as he considers the emotional consequences of his choices, the pressures of family expectations, and the authenticity of his desire to be with Noah. These internal monologues are presented with subtle visual cues, soft lighting, close-ups, and careful framing, that reinforce the intimacy of their inner worlds, allowing the audience to connect deeply with their emotional experiences. The reception is a dynamic sequence of interactions, combining joy, tension, and humor. As Noah and Nick navigate the crowd, they encounter a series of situations that test their composure and emotional readiness. Conversations with acquaintances, moments of accidental proximity, and shared laughter or tension highlight the complexity of re-engaging after years apart. Simon's presence continues to serve as a contrast to Nick, gently reminding Noah of her capacity to attract caring, supportive individuals, while also prompting introspection about the depth of her feelings for Nick. Secondary characters, including friends and family, observe and react to the evolving dynamics, often serving as catalysts for small but meaningful moments of clarity or emotional breakthrough. As the evening progresses, private conversations between Noah and Nick reveal deeper truths and emotional reconciliation. The film devotes careful attention to pacing, allowing moments to breathe, emphasizing silence, subtle gestures, and unspoken communication. In one particularly poignant scene, they find a quiet corner away from the festivities, reflecting on past misunderstandings and expressing genuine remorse. These dialogues are interlaced with flashbacks that highlight key turning points in their shared history, creating a sense of temporal layering that enriches the narrative and emphasizes the enduring significance of their love. The gradual progression from hesitation to openness mirrors the process of real-world reconciliation, reinforcing the authenticity of their emotional journey. The wedding's conclusion serves as both a literal and symbolic resolution of tension. As the festivities wind down, the protagonist's arcs converge in a series of carefully orchestrated moments of intimacy and emotional affirmation. Noah and Nick share gestures of trust, laughter, and tenderness, culminating in an unspoken understanding of mutual commitment and growth. Secondary characters' arcs also find closure, as friendships are reaffirmed, misunderstandings are clarified, and relationships are strengthened. The film emphasizes that the resolution of one narrative thread complements the fulfillment of others, creating a cohesive and emotionally satisfying conclusion that extends beyond the central romance to encompass the wider social and relational context. Following the wedding, the film transitions to an intimate exploration of Noah and Nick's plans for the future, emphasizing how love and personal growth can coexist. In private moments after the celebration, they discuss ambitions, career paths, and the practicalities of maintaining a relationship while honoring their independence. Noah shares her vision for her professional development and personal aspirations, expressing a desire to continue pursuing her career while remaining open to emotional connection. Nick responds with equal honesty, acknowledging the responsibilities of his family business, the pressures of societal expectations, and his own desire for authenticity in love. These conversations are portrayed with a deliberate calmness, emphasizing reflection, patience, and mutual respect, reinforcing the idea that sustainable love requires communication, compromise, and understanding. The film also dedicates time to the characters' emotional processing, showing how both Noah and Nick internalize the events of the day. Through quiet sequences, morning reflections, walks in scenic locations, and solitary moments of thought, the audience witnesses the lingering impact of past conflicts and the significance of present choices. Noah considers the growth she has achieved independently and how this new chapter with Nick can coexist with her autonomy. Nick reflects on the lessons learned from separation and emotional restraint, realizing that true love involves vulnerability, trust, and a willingness to forgive not only the other but also oneself. These reflective moments provide depth to their characters, allowing the audience to appreciate the internal work necessary for the reconciliation to succeed. Interactions with secondary characters continue to enrich the narrative, offering perspective and support as the protagonists navigate their renewed bond. Jenna and Lion remain steadfast friends, providing encouragement and a sense of continuity that reinforces the stability and loyalty that underpin meaningful relationships. Simon, who has become an integral yet non-romantic presence, demonstrates emotional maturity by supporting Noah's decisions and accepting the trajectory of her relationship with Nick. Family members gradually show understanding and acceptance, highlighting the slow, nuanced process by which trust and approval are rebuilt. These layered interactions underscore the narrative's commitment to realism, showing that emotional closure is a collective, relational process rather than solely an individual achievement. The film's concluding sequences depict Noah and Nick embracing a life in which their love is central but not all-consuming. Scenes portray shared moments of domesticity, professional collaboration, and mutual support, illustrating that their reconciliation is rooted in both emotional connection and practical alignment. They negotiate boundaries, celebrate successes, and navigate challenges together, demonstrating the resilience and depth of their renewed relationship. These depictions reinforce the thematic assertion that enduring love requires continual effort, understanding, and partnership, emphasizing that romance is most compelling when intertwined with personal development and mutual respect. Minor characters' arcs are also resolved, ensuring a holistic conclusion to the narrative. Friends' relationships are strengthened, familial bonds are mended, and personal growth is highlighted across the ensemble cast. By giving attention to these subplots, the film conveys a sense of completeness, suggesting that the resolution of the central romance has positive reverberations throughout the social network surrounding the protagonists. These elements contribute to the emotional richness and narrative cohesion, allowing the audience to leave with a sense of satisfaction and closure. The final moments of the film focus on a synthesis of reflection, hope, and continuity. Noah and Nick share a quiet scene that encapsulates their journey, the challenges overcome, the lessons learned, and the choices that define their present and future. This scene is visually framed to emphasize both intimacy and expansiveness, symbolizing their connection and the wider world of possibilities open to them. It conveys a message that love, while tested by time, miscommunication, and personal growth, can emerge stronger and more resilient when nurtured with honesty, patience, and empathy. The narrative concludes without unnecessary melodrama, instead opting for an emotionally authentic closure that honors the character's development and the audience's investment in their journey. Overall, Our Fault delivers a deeply satisfying conclusion to the trilogy by exploring themes of forgiveness, self-discovery, emotional resilience, and enduring love. It portrays the complexity of human relationships, emphasizing that reconciliation and happiness are achieved through effort, reflection, and mutual understanding. The protagonist's arcs demonstrate that love is not static but a dynamic force, evolving alongside personal growth and life circumstances. Secondary characters, subplots, and subtle interactions provide additional layers of emotional texture, making the story not only a romance but a broader examination of human connection, responsibility, and maturity. By the film's conclusion, viewers witness a resolution that honors the series' emotional trajectory. Noah and Nick are united in a mature, understanding, and supportive partnership, their love tempered by experience and enriched by personal growth. Supporting characters' arcs reach satisfying conclusions, and the wedding, which acted as the crucible for reconciliation, becomes a symbol of both emotional culmination and the promise of future happiness. The film's narrative emphasizes that enduring love is neither instantaneous nor uncomplicated, but when approached with honesty, empathy, and resilience, it can coexist with personal fulfillment and social responsibility, offering a message of hope, authenticity, and the transformative power of connection. In the days following the wedding, Noah and Nick navigate the delicate process of reintegrating each other into their daily lives, a transition that is both joyful and challenging. Their mornings are depicted with a quiet intimacy, breakfast routines, casual conversations over coffee, and shared silences that speak volumes about their comfort with one another. These small, mundane interactions are laden with subtext, revealing both lingering insecurities and newfound trust. Noah reflects internally on how far she has come since their separation, acknowledging the growth and resilience she has cultivated through independence and self-reliance. Nick, in parallel, contemplates the delicate balance between personal desire and external expectations, recognizing that sustaining love requires effort, patience, and vulnerability. The film emphasizes these ordinary yet profound moments to underscore that real relationships are built not only through grand gestures but also through consistent, thoughtful engagement in everyday life. Secondary characters continue to influence the protagonist's journey, enriching the narrative with subtle tensions, humor, and emotional guidance. Simon maintains a respectful presence, occasionally offering perspective or gentle encouragement without overstepping boundaries. His role exemplifies emotional intelligence and maturity, reinforcing the film's theme that love involves both giving and letting go. Jenna and Lion, now firmly established in their own harmonious relationship, provide support and stability, acting as confidants and sounding boards for Noah and Nick. Family members, initially wary of the rekindled romance, gradually express approval through small gestures, shared meals, and personal conversations, reinforcing the idea that acceptance and reconciliation are processes that unfold over time rather than instantaneously. These interactions demonstrate how relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, are interconnected and mutually influential, highlighting the narrative's commitment to depicting realistic social dynamics. Throughout this period, Noah and Nick revisit significant locations from their shared past, each visit serving as both a literal and symbolic journey through memory and growth. They walk through childhood neighborhoods, favorite cafes, and scenic spots that were once central to their relationship. These sequences are interspersed with flashbacks to formative moments, first dates, arguments, reconciliations, and pivotal choices, allowing viewers to understand the cumulative impact of experience on their present selves. Cinematography emphasizes continuity and contrast, using lighting, framing, and camera movement to evoke nostalgia while simultaneously highlighting the evolution of their emotional maturity. These visits function as rituals of reflection, reconciliation, and reaffirmation, bridging past and present in a visually and emotionally resonant manner. Internal monologues deepen the audience's understanding of the protagonist's psyche. Noah often reflects on her capacity for forgiveness, the tension between independence and connection, and the lessons learned from past mistakes. She contemplates how love can coexist with personal goals and self-respect, considering the ways in which vulnerability is both a strength and a risk. Nick, conversely, wrestles with the weight of responsibility, the challenges of expressing emotions that have been suppressed for years, and the necessity of aligning personal desires with moral and relational obligations. These introspective sequences are complemented by visual cues, quiet moments of contemplation, distant gazes, or reflective journaling, allowing the audience to inhabit the characters' inner worlds and experience the subtleties of their growth and reconciliation. Daily life also introduces minor yet meaningful conflicts and resolutions that reinforce the depth of their relationship. Small disagreements over routine matters, time management, household preferences, or professional priorities, serve as opportunities for both characters to practice communication, empathy, and compromise. These interactions illustrate that love is not static, it requires negotiation, attention, and mutual understanding. The narrative emphasizes that such challenges are natural and essential for the sustainability of a relationship, highlighting the film's commitment to portraying romance as a dynamic, evolving process rather than a series of idealized, conflict-free moments. Interactions with friends and extended social circles continue to play a critical role in character development. Social gatherings, group dinners, and casual outings allow Noah and Nick to navigate public perceptions, familial expectations, and peer influence. Each scenario provides opportunities for dialogue, subtle tension, and emotional revelation. Friends' observations, supportive advice, or well-meaning interference illuminate different facets of the protagonist's personalities and decision-making processes, reinforcing the interconnectedness of human relationships. These sequences contribute to the richness of the narrative, ensuring that the film remains grounded in the reality of shared social and emotional experience. The film also explores the ongoing professional lives of the protagonists, demonstrating how their individual achievements and responsibilities intersect with their relationship. Noah's career continues to advance, presenting challenges and opportunities that require both focus and collaboration with supportive colleagues. Nick's role in the family business grows in complexity, demanding strategic acumen and ethical decision-making. Their ability to navigate professional pressures while maintaining emotional intimacy reflects a mature understanding of love and partnership, emphasizing the theme that personal growth and romantic fulfillment are complementary rather than mutually exclusive. Scenes depicting work-life integration, shared problem-solving, and mutual encouragement further illustrate the depth and practicality of their renewed bond. As the narrative unfolds, Noah and Nick continue to revisit moments of past conflict, applying the lessons they have learned to prevent repetition of old mistakes. Through honest conversations, reflective self-assessment, and empathetic engagement, they resolve lingering misunderstandings and reinforce trust. Minor characters occasionally reintroduce challenges or reminders of prior complications, but the protagonist's evolved emotional maturity allows them to navigate these instances with grace and resilience. The film emphasizes that reconciliation is not a singular event but an ongoing process, one that requires attentiveness, patience, and continual reinforcement of trust and commitment. As weeks pass after the wedding, Noah and Nick begin to settle into a rhythm that blends the familiar with the newly discovered. Their mornings are marked by quiet routines that carry layers of intimacy, preparing breakfast together, exchanging light-hearted banter, and sharing moments of mutual observation that reveal how deeply they understand one another. Noah notices the subtle ways Nick has grown, the patience in his gestures, the attentiveness in his expressions, and the thoughtfulness with which he approaches shared decisions. Nick, in turn, observes Noah's confidence, resilience, and the clarity with which she articulates her desires, recognizing that the woman before him is both the same person he once loved and someone profoundly evolved. These small, quotidian moments are suffused with meaning, demonstrating that the strength of a relationship often lies in the accumulation of ordinary yet significant shared experiences. The narrative continues to weave in extended reflections, allowing both protagonists to engage with their internal landscapes and revisit formative experiences. Noah spends time in solitude, reflecting on the challenges of her past relationship with Nick, the independence she cultivated during their separation, and the courage required to open her heart again. These sequences are rendered with careful attention to visual and auditory cues, quiet cityscapes, the soft murmur of ambient life, and the use of reflective surfaces such as mirrors or windows to symbolize self-examination. Nick similarly engages in introspection, considering the pressures of familial obligations, the consequences of past mistakes, and the vulnerability inherent in expressing love openly. These reflective sequences deepen the audience's understanding of the character's emotional complexity, illustrating how personal growth is intertwined with relational evolution. Interactions with secondary characters remain integral to the story's texture. Friends provide moments of levity, challenge, and guidance, contributing to the protagonist's development without overshadowing the central romance. Jenna and Lion act as both anchors and commentators, reinforcing the importance of loyalty and mutual support, while minor characters, colleagues, extended family members, and acquaintances, introduce external pressures and perspectives that test the couple's patience, communication, and empathy. Simon, whose arc has evolved from romantic potential to an emblem of emotional intelligence, offers moments of subtle insight that encourage Noah to confront her deepest emotions. Each interaction, no matter how brief, is carefully calibrated to influence the protagonist's choices, reinforcing the narrative's thematic focus on interconnectedness and relational impact. The narrative also emphasizes the symbolic resonance of shared spaces. Noah and Nick revisit meaningful locations from their past, including cafes, parks, and private apartments where pivotal moments occurred. Each visit is layered with sensory and emotional cues, the smell of familiar coffee, the rustle of leaves in a breeze, or the soft hum of a city street evokes memories that are simultaneously sweet and bittersweet. These sequences function as both literal and metaphorical journeys through memory, allowing the characters to reconcile past grievances while affirming the continuity of their bond. Cinematography highlights contrasts between the vibrancy of memory and the maturity of the present, emphasizing how experiences shape identity, perception, and relational dynamics. The film devotes considerable attention to exploring the challenges inherent in sustaining a renewed relationship. Small disagreements, divergent expectations, and moments of miscommunication are depicted realistically, highlighting that love is not a static or effortless state. Noah and Nick navigate these instances with reflection, empathy, and dialogue, demonstrating the labor required to maintain trust and intimacy. These conflicts are interspersed with moments of shared joy, laughter, and tenderness, creating an emotional rhythm that mirrors the ebb and flow of real-life relationships. The narrative suggests that reconciliation and enduring connection are built not only through grand gestures but also through everyday acts of consideration, compromise, and attentiveness. Professional life continues to intersect with personal growth, illustrating the protagonist's multidimensional development. Noah's work, depicted with attention to challenges and accomplishments, serves as a lens into her independence, ambition, and sense of purpose. Nick's engagement with his family business reflects strategic thinking, ethical responsibility, and leadership growth, while also testing his ability to balance professional duty with emotional authenticity. Scenes of collaboration, shared decision-making, and negotiation emphasize the harmony between personal fulfillment and romantic partnership, demonstrating that mature love complements rather than competes with individual goals. The story also includes moments of introspective dialogue between Noah and Nick, in which they articulate fears, hopes, and lessons learned. These conversations are framed within naturalistic settings, quiet walks, evening reflections, or casual home environments, emphasizing the authenticity of their communication. They discuss past misunderstandings, articulate boundaries, and explore the meaning of trust and forgiveness, reflecting the narrative's ongoing commitment to portraying love as a dynamic, evolving, and consciously nurtured experience. These sequences provide both catharsis and insight, allowing the audience to witness the protagonist's emotional labor and the depth of their commitment. In the weeks following the wedding, Noah and Nick find themselves in a period of quiet adjustment, a liminal space between past regrets and future possibilities. Each day begins with subtle rituals that, while ordinary in appearance, carry immense emotional significance. They share breakfast together in the morning light, the clatter of dishes and the aroma of coffee serving as grounding points for conversations both mundane and profound. Noah notices the way Nick's expressions have softened over the years, the small gestures of attentiveness that reveal a depth of care previously masked by pride and insecurity. Nick observes Noah's newfound confidence, the clarity with which she approaches both work and personal life, and the gentle assertiveness that comes from living independently. These shared moments, unremarkable to an outside observer, are filled with intimacy and unspoken acknowledgement of the struggles they have endured and the growth they have achieved. Through these scenes, the film underscores the idea that true connection is built as much through everyday life as it is through dramatic, overt gestures of love. Noah spends long hours reflecting on her past experiences, contemplating the path that brought her to this moment of reconciliation. Her thoughts weave between memories of past heartbreaks, lessons learned during years of separation, and a careful analysis of what she truly desires in a partner. She considers the ways in which her own insecurities once contributed to misunderstandings with Nick, acknowledging that forgiveness extends not only outward but inward, to herself as well. These moments of introspection are rendered through a combination of narrative voiceover, visual cues such as sunlight filtering through windows, and the recurring motif of reflective surfaces, mirrors, water, glass, that symbolize both self-examination and emotional transparency. Nick, in parallel, engages in his own reflection, thinking about the responsibilities he has shouldered, the emotional walls he built to protect himself, and the courage required to finally allow vulnerability. His thoughts often turn to the risks inherent in opening one's heart again, yet he recognizes that true love necessitates courage, patience, and the willingness to embrace imperfection. Through these parallel reflections, the film presents a deeply empathetic exploration of human emotion, emphasizing that reconciliation is a multifaceted, ongoing process. Interactions with secondary characters provide both texture and contrast, illuminating the protagonist's growth and reinforcing the story's central themes. Simon, whose presence has evolved from romantic interest to emblem of emotional intelligence, continues to offer gentle support and thoughtful perspective, prompting Noah to confront unresolved feelings and affirm her priorities. Jenna and Lion, ever-present anchors, provide both stability and playful commentary, serving as mirrors for the protagonist's relational growth. Family members gradually reveal shifts in perception, subtle gestures, approving glances, and private conversations demonstrate that trust and acceptance are earned over time. Even minor acquaintances contribute to the emotional ecosystem, presenting moments of tension, humor, or challenge that serve to test the durability and adaptability of Noah and Nick's renewed connection. These interactions highlight the social and relational complexity inherent in maintaining authentic love, suggesting that no relationship exists in isolation and that personal choices reverberate across a network of connections. The narrative devotes considerable attention to the significance of physical and symbolic spaces, using environments to reflect emotional states and relational dynamics. Noah and Nick revisit meaningful locations from their shared history, the cafe where they first met, a secluded park bench that witnessed pivotal confessions, and the streets of their neighborhood where countless memories linger. These spaces are imbued with sensory cues, the smell of fresh bread, the hum of the city, the rustle of autumn leaves, that evoke nostalgia and emotional resonance. Cinematic techniques such as long tracking shots, soft focus, and naturalistic lighting emphasize the intertwining of memory and present experience, allowing the audience to inhabit the characters' emotional landscapes fully. Each visit becomes a ritual of remembrance, reconciliation, and affirmation, demonstrating how physical spaces can carry the weight of past emotions while simultaneously offering a canvas for growth and renewal. Everyday challenges and small conflicts serve as narrative devices to illustrate the evolving dynamics of Noah and Nick's relationship. Disagreements over time management, professional obligations, and personal preferences are portrayed realistically, emphasizing that sustaining a relationship requires active engagement and compromise. These moments are interspersed with laughter, shared victories, and quiet reassurances, creating a rhythm that mirrors real-life relationships, the ebb and flow of conflict, understanding, and intimacy. The film's approach to these situations emphasizes that reconciliation and enduring love are processes, not endpoints, and that vulnerability, patience, and communication are essential ingredients in navigating the complexities of shared life. The protagonists' professional lives are woven seamlessly into the narrative, reinforcing their multidimensional identities and the compatibility of personal growth with romantic commitment. Noah's career, depicted through her dedication, problem-solving, and creative pursuits, underscores her independence and determination. Nick's role within his family business illustrates leadership, strategic thinking, and ethical responsibility, highlighting the pressures that accompany personal and professional maturity. Scenes showing collaboration, shared problem-solving, and mutual encouragement reinforce the message that love can enhance personal development, rather than impede it. These sequences emphasize the film's commitment to portraying characters as fully realized individuals whose love is enriched by, rather than subordinated to, their ambitions and responsibilities. Throughout these sequences, dialogue continues to reveal depth, subtlety, and evolving intimacy. Noah and Nick articulate fears, hopes, and lessons learned, often framed in quiet, naturalistic settings such as evening walks, home interiors, or tranquil outdoor spaces. Their conversations reveal vulnerability and empathy, as they navigate boundaries, articulate expectations, and explore the meaning of trust and forgiveness. These exchanges provide both catharsis and insight, allowing the audience to witness the painstaking but rewarding work of sustaining a meaningful relationship. By emphasizing reflection alongside action, the narrative demonstrates that emotional growth and relational fulfillment are inseparable, and that love is most enduring when rooted in honesty, awareness, and mutual respect. As weeks turn into months, Noah and Nick settle further into a life that balances intimacy with autonomy, a rhythm shaped by both love and personal growth. Mornings are tranquil, characterized by shared rituals that blend domesticity with subtle emotional affirmation. They prepare breakfast together, often engaging in light-hearted conversation about trivial matters, yet each word and gesture carries unspoken acknowledgement of the bond they share. Noah notes the evolution in Nick's demeanor, how he listens more intently, responds with thoughtful patience, and expresses care in nuanced ways. Nick, in turn, observes Noah's confident decisiveness, her ability to navigate complex emotional and professional terrains, and the calm strength that contrasts with her youthful vulnerability from years past. These daily interactions are depicted as more than routine, they are moments of emotional anchoring, demonstrating that love is nurtured in ordinary life as much as in dramatic moments. Noah's internal reflections deepen, providing insight into the multifaceted nature of forgiveness and self-discovery. She contemplates the ways in which her previous insecurities shaped her reactions, acknowledging her own contributions to past misunderstandings while also recognizing her resilience and growth. Her mind often drifts to memories of joyful moments with Nick, painful separations, and the lessons learned in solitude, forming an intricate tapestry of emotional development. Nick's reflections are equally complex. He considers the burdens he carried in protecting family interests, the walls he erected around his heart, and the courage required to embrace vulnerability once more. These sequences, conveyed through contemplative voiceovers and visual metaphors, reflections in water, sunlight streaming through windows, quiet walks in familiar yet changed spaces, offer a deeply immersive experience, allowing the audience to inhabit the inner landscapes of both characters. Interactions with secondary characters continue to shape the narrative's emotional texture. Simon, whose presence has transitioned from romantic rival to supportive confidant, embodies emotional intelligence, offering subtle guidance without intruding upon Noah's decisions. Jenna and Lion provide warmth, humor, and insight, reinforcing the values of loyalty and unconditional support. Extended family members, initially wary of the rekindled relationship, gradually reveal acceptance through nuanced gestures, sharing meals, offering advice, or simply observing with approving smiles. These interactions serve as reminders that relationships exist within a broader network of social and familial connections, and that personal happiness is often intertwined with the perceptions, approvals, and emotional investments of those around us. The protagonists' revisits to meaningful spaces are portrayed as both literal journeys and symbolic acts of reconciliation. They stroll through the streets where they first met, linger in parks where pivotal conversations occurred, and revisit cafes that hold the scents, sounds, and energy of shared memories. Each environment is rendered with sensory richness, the hum of the city, the rustle of leaves, the aroma of fresh bread, and the warmth of sunlight all evoke nostalgia while grounding the narrative in the present. These journeys allow the characters to confront lingering doubts, celebrate growth, and reaffirm their bond, emphasizing that reconciliation is not solely an internal process but one that engages with the tangible world and a continuum of shared experiences. Even in moments of domestic routine, minor conflicts arise, depicted with a realism that underscores the effort required to maintain a relationship. Disagreements over scheduling, household preferences, or professional priorities are handled with communication, empathy, and compromise, reinforcing the narrative's commitment to portraying love as a dynamic, evolving force. These instances are interspersed with moments of shared laughter, celebration of small victories, and quiet tenderness, creating an emotional cadence that mirrors the natural rhythms of mature relationships. Through these depictions, the story conveys that enduring love requires both awareness and action, patience and adaptability, and that the ordinary challenges of life are as meaningful to relational growth as extraordinary events. Professional lives remain interwoven with personal development, reinforcing the multidimensional nature of both Noah and Nick. Noah's career trajectory illustrates ambition, creativity, and resilience, emphasizing her independence and capability. Nick's engagement with his family business reflects strategic thinking, ethical responsibility, and leadership growth, while also challenging him to balance external obligations with authentic emotional expression. Scenes of collaborative problem-solving, shared decision-making, and mutual encouragement highlight the compatibility of personal ambition and romantic fulfillment, suggesting that true partnership enhances rather than diminishes individual achievement. The narrative dedicates significant attention to intimate dialogues between Noah and Nick, allowing them to articulate fears, hopes, and reflections on past missteps. These conversations, framed in naturalistic settings such as evening walks, quiet home interiors, and scenic outdoor locales, reveal emotional vulnerability and mutual empathy. The discussions address boundaries, expectations, and the meaning of trust, illustrating that reconciliation is an ongoing, active process. Through these sequences, the audience witnesses the labor and dedication required to sustain a meaningful relationship, reinforcing the thematic assertion that love is both deliberate and evolving. As the story approaches closure, symbolic resolutions are woven into both plot and setting. Revisits to childhood neighborhoods, familiar cafes, and scenic vistas serve as metaphors for growth, memory, and the continuity of shared life. Through these visual and narrative motifs, the film emphasizes that the protagonist's bond is rooted in history yet continually renewed through conscious effort, reflection, and emotional courage. Secondary characters' arcs are also resolved, providing satisfying conclusions for friendships, family relationships, and personal growth trajectories. Simon gracefully accepts his supportive role, Jenna and Lyon's partnership is celebrated, and familial tensions are eased, reinforcing the interconnectedness and harmony of the social fabric surrounding Noah and Nick. In the final sequences, Noah and Nick are depicted embracing a life of shared responsibility, affection, and authenticity. They negotiate ongoing challenges, celebrate accomplishments, and nurture intimacy through consistent acts of attention and care. These moments are rendered with a richness that captures both the emotional complexity and the quotidian beauty of mature love. The film concludes with a sense of fulfillment, portraying reconciliation not as a dramatic endpoint but as a lived, ongoing practice. The wedding, the revisited spaces, and the ensemble of secondary characters all contribute to a holistic closure that honors the trilogy's emotional trajectory, emphasizing that love, growth, and connection are sustained through awareness, empathy, and deliberate effort. By the narrative's end, Our Fault leaves viewers with a profound sense of completion and hope. Noah and Nick's relationship exemplifies the power of forgiveness, the necessity of self-reflection, and the resilience of authentic love. The film portrays the complexities of human connection with honesty, depth, and sensitivity, affirming that relationships, while tested by circumstance and imperfection, can thrive through communication, vulnerability, and mutual support. Supporting characters' arcs, symbolic gestures, and everyday interactions enrich the story, creating a tapestry of interconnected experiences that underscores the enduring value of love, growth, and emotional courage. Months into their renewed relationship, Noah and Nick experience a period of profound consolidation, where emotional intimacy and daily life weave seamlessly together. Mornings are no longer merely routines but quiet affirmations of presence and mutual care. They share breakfast on sunlit balconies or kitchen tables, engaging in playful debates over small, inconsequential matters, like the right temperature for coffee or who should walk the dog first, yet beneath these light-hearted exchanges lies a deep, unspoken understanding. Every gesture, every glance, carries the weight of their shared history, the lessons learned from separation, and the conscious choice to remain open and attentive to one another. These sequences are depicted with a cinematic tenderness, natural lighting, slow pans, and lingering close-ups underscore the intimacy of everyday life, portraying love not as a grand spectacle but as a continuous, nurturing practice. Noah's reflective moments are rich and layered, often interspersed with observations of the world around her. She contemplates her own growth, the confidence, resilience, and clarity she has developed since the time apart from Nick. She acknowledges the mistakes made in youth, the moments of pride and fear, and the courage it took to embrace vulnerability once more. Her reflections extend beyond personal introspection. She considers the dynamics of human connection, the interplay of choice and circumstance, and the importance of empathy in sustaining relationships. Nick, in parallel, engages in similarly layered reflection. He examines his responsibilities, both familial and personal, the impact of his previous decisions, and the courage it takes to merge ambition with authenticity. These internal dialogues are enriched by visual metaphors, Noah observing sunlight through trees, Nick pausing at city streets where memories linger, reflective surfaces capturing fleeting expressions, all underscoring the thematic interplay of memory, growth, and renewal. Interactions with secondary characters continue to serve as catalysts for reflection, growth, and emotional resonance. Simon, now fully established as a supportive presence rather than a romantic competitor, offers quiet wisdom and perspective, prompting Noah to confront lingering doubts and articulate her intentions. Jenna and Lion maintain a stabilizing, joyful influence, their partnership a mirror for balance, loyalty, and shared growth. Extended family members gradually integrate their understanding and acceptance of the protagonist's renewed relationship, sometimes through subtle approval, sometimes through direct conversations, reinforcing the narrative's attention to the slow, nuanced process of rebuilding trust and social harmony. Even minor acquaintances contribute texture, presenting small challenges, opportunities for self-expression, or moments of levity that emphasize the interconnectedness of human relationships and the ripple effects of emotional decisions. The narrative invests in exploring symbolic spaces and revisited locations, imbuing each environment with both memory and significance. The cafes where Noah and Nick first connected, the park benches where confessions were made, and the streets of neighborhoods rich with shared history are rendered with exquisite sensory detail. The aroma of baked goods, the rustle of autumn leaves, the gentle hum of passing cars, all evoke nostalgia while grounding the characters in the present. These journeys are not merely physical but represent emotional navigation, moments in which the protagonists confront their past, celebrate progress, and reaffirm their bond. Cinematic techniques, long tracking shots, soft focus, interplay of light and shadow, emphasize the duality of memory and present experience, allowing the audience to feel the weight of continuity, growth, and renewal. Daily life introduces both subtle and pronounced challenges, each a microcosm of relational labor. Conflicts arise over professional priorities, household decisions, and lifestyle preferences, yet these moments are framed not as antagonistic but as opportunities for dialogue, compromise, and mutual understanding. The film emphasizes that sustaining love is not effortless, it requires attentiveness, negotiation, and conscious emotional investment. These sequences are balanced with moments of joy, laughter, and shared achievement, reinforcing the dynamic ebb and flow of intimate connection. Through these portrayals, the narrative conveys the realistic, often intricate work that underlies lasting, meaningful relationships. Professional growth remains integral to character development and relational depth. Noah's career trajectory, marked by dedication, creative insight, and strategic thinking, demonstrates her independence and personal agency. Nick's engagement with family business responsibilities highlights leadership, ethical decision-making, and strategic acumen, while challenging him to balance personal and professional life. Scenes depicting collaboration, shared problem-solving, and mutual encouragement reinforce the narrative's message that partnership enhances rather than impedes individual development, illustrating that mature love harmonizes with ambition, responsibility, and self-actualization. Extended dialogues between Noah and Nick serve as windows into the evolution of their emotional maturity. They articulate fears, hopes, boundaries, and reflections on past misunderstandings, fostering mutual empathy and trust. These conversations occur in intimate and naturalistic settings, evening walks along quiet streets, home interiors filled with the warmth of shared routines, scenic outdoor locations that evoke calm and reflection. The narrative emphasizes that reconciliation is ongoing work, grounded in continuous reflection, communication, and vulnerability, providing a deeply authentic portrayal of emotional labor in sustaining love. As the story nears its ultimate resolution, symbolic closure is woven into both narrative and environment. Revisits to formative locations, subtle gestures of care, and meaningful shared experiences highlight the protagonist's growth and renewed connection. Secondary characters' arcs find satisfying conclusions. Simon gracefully embraces his role as a confidant, Jenna and Lyon's relationship flourishes, family members achieve understanding and acceptance, and friend support is celebrated. Each resolution reinforces the interconnectedness of the story, emphasizing that love, while central, exists within a broader web of social and emotional relationships. The narrative concludes with a vision of Noah and Nick's future together. They are depicted navigating life with authenticity, balance, and mutual support, embracing the ordinary alongside the extraordinary. Shared meals, professional collaborations, playful banter, quiet reflections, and celebratory moments illustrate the multidimensionality of their connection. Their love, tempered by past trials and strengthened by growth, stands as a testament to resilience, communication, and conscious emotional investment. The final sequences, suffused with naturalistic light, subtle visual symbolism, and layered soundscapes, offer a sense of enduring hope, fulfillment, and the beauty of human connection realized through patience, empathy, and devotion. As Noah and Nick progress further into their renewed life together, their days take on a rhythm that feels both comforting and profoundly significant, a delicate blend of routine and rediscovered intimacy. Early mornings are quiet and reflective, with the soft light of dawn filtering through the curtains as they prepare breakfast together. Noah moves with a confident ease, pouring coffee while simultaneously reflecting on how the journey of the past few months has transformed her understanding of love, commitment, and self-reliance. Nick, standing across from her, observes these gestures with a mixture of admiration and introspection, noting the quiet resilience that now defines her presence. Each exchanged glance, each unspoken acknowledgement, is imbued with meaning. They are reminders of the struggles they have weathered, the miscommunications they have untangled, and the deliberate choices they are now making to prioritize transparency and understanding. These morning routines, though simple, are portrayed with cinematic attention to detail, the clinking of cups, the subtle rustle of leaves outside, the ambient city sounds in the background, all reinforcing the intimacy of ordinary life as a foundation for enduring love. Noah's internal reflections grow increasingly nuanced and layered. She spends quiet afternoons walking through parks, revisiting familiar streets, or sitting by the window in her favorite cafe, reflecting not only on her journey with Nick but on her evolution as a person. She considers the challenges she once faced, the independence she cultivated, and the emotional growth that has allowed her to approach love with a balance of vulnerability and strength. Her mind frequently revisits the moments that led to their separation, the misunderstandings, the unspoken fears, and the internalized pressures of youth. She now perceives those experiences not as failures but as critical junctures that shaped her resilience and clarity. Nick's internal monologues run parallel, equally rich and complex. He reflects on the burdens of familial expectations, the walls he once built to protect his heart, and the courage required to embrace emotional honesty fully. In quiet moments, he considers the depth of Noah's transformation, the authenticity she now brings to their interactions, and the ways in which their shared experiences can inform a more mature, enduring partnership. These sequences are visually reinforced through thoughtful cinematography, reflective surfaces capturing fleeting expressions, sunlight casting patterns across the room, and the gentle movement of the city outside framing their introspective worlds. Interactions with secondary characters continue to add depth and complexity to the narrative, subtly shaping the protagonist's emotional landscape. Simon, having gracefully transitioned from a potential romantic interest to a supportive friend, offers insights that encourage Noah to confront lingering uncertainties and articulate her desires with clarity. Jenna and Lion, whose bond exemplifies loyalty, partnership, and trust, provide both levity and stability, gently nudging the protagonists toward reflection while celebrating their successes. Extended family members gradually shift from cautious observers to invested supporters, their gestures, shared meals, approving glances, or subtle affirmations, illustrating the slow, organic process of acceptance and trust building. Even peripheral acquaintances play small but meaningful roles, a brief encounter at a cafe, a word of advice from a colleague, or a chance observation of a shared activity, all serving as catalysts for reflection, understanding, and relational nuance. These interactions demonstrate that human connections are layered and interdependent, reinforcing the narrative's focus on the interconnectedness of love, support, and personal growth. The narrative places particular emphasis on revisiting symbolic spaces, turning each location into a canvas of memory and meaning. Noah and Nick frequently walk through streets where they first met, linger in cafes where critical conversations unfolded, and pause at parks that have witnessed both joy and conflict. These settings are rich in sensory detail, the aroma of freshly baked goods, the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, the distant hum of city life, and the warmth of sunlight reflecting off surfaces. Each environment becomes a metaphorical stage where past experiences meet present understanding, allowing the characters to reconcile old wounds and celebrate emotional progress. Cinematic techniques enhance this symbolism. Long tracking shots emphasize the continuity of memory, soft lighting conveys intimacy and reflection, and careful framing of their shared interactions underscores the enduring nature of their bond. Through these revisits, the film communicates that love is both temporal and spatial, living in memory as much as in the ongoing experience of togetherness. Even in the midst of domesticity, subtle challenges emerge, depicted with a realism that highlights the effort required to maintain connection. Disagreements over professional priorities, scheduling conflicts, and differing personal preferences are not portrayed as antagonistic but as opportunities for dialogue, compromise, and growth. Through negotiation and empathetic listening, Noah and Nick model how sustained love involves patience, attentiveness, and conscious effort. These conflicts are interspersed with moments of joy, laughter, and shared celebration of small victories, reinforcing the dynamic ebb and flow of mature relationships. The narrative emphasizes that emotional labor is ongoing and essential, and that true partnership requires not only affection but continual engagement, reflection, and adaptability. Professional endeavors remain an important dimension of the protagonists' lives, illustrating the integration of personal ambition with relational fulfillment. Noah's career, characterized by creativity, problem-solving, and strategic decision-making, reflects her independence and self-efficacy. Nick's responsibilities within his family business provide both challenge and opportunity, demanding leadership, ethical discernment, and balancing emotional priorities with professional obligations. Scenes depicting collaboration, joint decision-making, and mutual support reinforce the narrative's assertion that a healthy relationship is one in which individual growth and romantic partnership are not mutually exclusive but mutually reinforcing. The film portrays these moments with attention to detail, emphasizing the richness of shared accomplishments alongside personal achievement. Intimate dialogues between Noah and Nick continue to provide insight into their evolving emotional landscape. They share fears, hopes, lessons learned, and reflections on past missteps in settings that highlight naturalism and authenticity, evening walks along quiet streets, reflective moments at home, and tranquil outdoor spaces that evoke contemplation. Their conversations reveal vulnerability and empathy, demonstrating that reconciliation is a continuous, active process. By highlighting these exchanges, the narrative offers viewers an authentic depiction of the labor, dedication, and attention required to sustain love over time. Each dialogue reinforces that enduring relationships are grounded in transparency, trust, and a willingness to grow together. As the story moves toward its ultimate closure, symbolic gestures and environmental cues underscore the resolution of emotional arcs. Revisits to meaningful locations, acts of thoughtfulness, and shared experiences illustrate the protagonist's growth and reaffirm their bond. Secondary characters' storylines are resolved with care, Simon embraces his supportive role, Jenna and Lyon's partnership flourishes, and family members express approval and understanding through gestures both subtle and overt. These resolutions convey the narrative's broader message: love exists within an interconnected web of social, emotional, and familial relationships, and personal happiness is enriched by the care and attention of those around us. The narrative culminates in a vision of Noah and Nick's shared future, rich with authenticity, balance, and tenderness. They navigate life together with open communication, mutual support, and the recognition that love requires both vulnerability and intentionality. Scenes of shared meals, collaborative projects, playful interactions, quiet reflections, and celebratory moments paint a comprehensive picture of a relationship that is dynamic, resilient, and deeply fulfilling. The film closes with a sense of enduring hope and satisfaction, emphasizing that love, when nurtured with awareness, empathy, and dedication, is both sustainable and transformative. Symbolic visual motifs, layered soundscapes, and subtle gestures underscore the narrative's themes, leaving viewers with a sense of emotional closure, continuity, and the beauty of connection achieved through perseverance and understanding. As the months advance, Noah and Nick develop a rhythm of life that balances the ordinary with the emotionally significant, where each shared experience reinforces their renewed bond. Mornings often begin with soft light spilling through open windows, a gentle reminder of the passage of time and the opportunities each day holds. They engage in seemingly mundane routines, preparing coffee, sharing toast, exchanging playful banter about trivial domestic matters, but each gesture carries layers of meaning born from years of separation, growth, and reconciliation. Noah notices the subtle attentiveness in Nick's movements, the way he refills her cup without asking, the pause he takes to notice her smile, the gentle encouragement he offers before she heads to work. Nick, observing Noah, notes her poised confidence, the calm decisiveness in her approach to both personal and professional challenges, and the serene strength that reflects the independence she cultivated during their time apart. Through these sequences, the narrative conveys that love is woven not only through grand romantic gestures but also through these small, deliberate, and consistent acts of care and attention. Noah's internal reflections are now more layered and profound than ever. She spends quiet moments alone, walking along tree-lined streets, sitting in a sun-dappled park, or observing city life from a cafe window, contemplating the intricate interplay between her past experiences and present growth. Her mind revisits early memories with Nick, moments of joy, moments of hurt, and the misunderstandings that once drove them apart. She evaluates these memories with clarity, acknowledging her own contributions to past tensions while also celebrating the resilience and maturity she has gained. Nick's reflections mirror this depth. He considers the responsibility he bears toward his family, the emotional walls he built to shield himself, and the courage necessary to embrace vulnerability once more. In these sequences, cinematography and sound design work together, reflections captured in glass, sunlight glinting off water, distant urban sounds blending with quiet introspection, all underscore the characters' deep, internal emotional journeys, creating an immersive experience for the audience. Interactions with secondary characters continue to provide depth, texture, and subtle narrative movement. Simon, fully transitioned to a supportive and platonic role, offers guidance and quiet wisdom, prompting Noah to articulate her feelings and intentions clearly. Jenna and Lyon, as steadfast friends, embody partnership, loyalty, and shared joy, providing gentle commentary and celebratory acknowledgement of Noah and Nick's growth. Extended family members, initially hesitant, gradually express trust and approval through small gestures, meals, and personal conversations, illustrating that reconciliation is both relational and gradual. Even minor acquaintances influence the protagonist's development, through chance meetings, casual remarks, or observed interactions, demonstrating the broader network of social and emotional connections that shape and reinforce the couple's evolving bond. The narrative places strong emphasis on the significance of physical and symbolic spaces, transforming ordinary environments into repositories of memory and emotional resonance. Noah and Nick frequently revisit locations imbued with personal history, the cafe where their friendship began, the park bench that witnessed vulnerable confessions, the streets where laughter and tension once intertwined. These places are rendered with rich sensory detail, the aroma of baked bread, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, the hum of distant traffic, the warmth of sunlight on a cold day. Each location becomes a stage for reflection, reconciliation, and emotional reaffirmation, allowing the protagonists to confront past difficulties and celebrate present growth. Visual storytelling, long tracking shots, soft focus, naturalistic light, enhances these sequences, emphasizing the convergence of memory and present experience, and highlighting the enduring yet evolving nature of their bond. Daily life continues to test and affirm the strength of their relationship. Minor disagreements over household routines, professional commitments, or lifestyle choices are approached with patience, reflection, and communication. These conflicts, depicted realistically, emphasize the deliberate work required to maintain emotional intimacy and trust. Interspersed with laughter, shared victories, playful teasing, and moments of quiet tenderness, these sequences illustrate the rhythm of mature love, a dynamic interplay of challenge, understanding, and care. The narrative underlines that relational stability is cultivated through attention, intentionality, and the continuous negotiation of needs, boundaries, and desires. Professional endeavors remain an essential aspect of the protagonists' multidimensional lives. Noah's career, marked by creative insight, problem-solving, and strategic focus, underscores her independence and agency. Nick's responsibilities within the family business require leadership, ethical deliberation, and balancing obligations with personal authenticity. Scenes depicting collaboration, mutual encouragement, and joint problem-solving highlight the synergy between personal ambition and romantic partnership, reinforcing the narrative's message that love thrives when individual growth and shared goals coexist harmoniously. Intimate dialogues between Noah and Nick remain central, offering insight into the evolution of trust, vulnerability, and mutual understanding. They engage in conversations that explore fears, hopes, boundaries, and reflections on past misunderstandings, often in serene and naturalistic settings, evening walks along quiet streets, cozy home interiors, and open, contemplative outdoor spaces. These moments reveal emotional transparency and active empathy, underscoring the narrative's assertion that sustaining a meaningful relationship requires ongoing reflection, dialogue, and effort. As the story reaches its ultimate resolution, symbolic closure is woven through plot, environment, and character interaction. Revisits to significant locations, thoughtful gestures of care, and shared experiences emphasize the protagonist's growth and the strength of their renewed bond. Secondary characters' arcs are concluded with finesse. Simon embraces his supportive role, Jenna and Lyon's partnership flourishes, family members extend understanding and approval, and friend support is celebrated. These resolutions reinforce the interconnectedness of emotional, social, and familial networks, highlighting that love flourishes within a broader ecosystem of human relationships. The narrative culminates in a vision of Noah and Nick's shared future that embodies authenticity, balance, and mutual support. They navigate life together with attentiveness, vulnerability, and intentional care, celebrating both the extraordinary and the ordinary moments. Scenes of shared meals, collaborative projects, playful teasing, quiet reflection, and personal celebration illustrate the richness and dynamism of their partnership. Their love, tempered by past trials and strengthened through growth, exemplifies resilience, empathy, and the transformative power of intentional connection. The final sequences, illuminated with naturalistic light, subtle visual metaphors, and layered soundscapes, offer an emotionally satisfying conclusion, leaving viewers with a sense of enduring hope, fulfillment, and the beauty of a life built on conscious love, shared growth, and mutual respect. As the months unfold, Noah and Nick settle into a life that feels simultaneously familiar and refreshingly new, a tapestry of shared routines, intentional communication, and quietly profound moments. Their mornings are now almost ritualistic, beginning with the soft glow of dawn filtering through the curtains, casting gentle light across the kitchen as they prepare breakfast together. The simple act of pouring coffee, arranging toast, and setting the table becomes imbued with layers of emotional significance. Each gesture is both a practical necessity and a subtle affirmation of care, attentiveness, and mutual respect. Noah, moving with calm deliberation, reflects on the path that brought her here, the independence she cultivated, the heartbreaks she endured, the lessons in forgiveness and self-discovery. Nick watches her, noting the subtle expressions, the precise confidence in her movements, the serene strength in her presence, and feels a profound gratitude for her willingness to allow love back into her life. Their banter, light and playful on the surface, carries deeper undercurrents of understanding. A teasing comment about the perfect coffee temperature or a joking dispute over morning routines is simultaneously an acknowledgement of intimacy, shared history, and a conscious effort to honor each other's perspectives. Cinematically, these scenes are rendered with careful attention to natural lighting, lingering close-ups of hands brushing, glances exchanged over mugs, and ambient city sounds, a symphony of ordinary life magnified into meaningful emotional resonance. Throughout the day, Noah engages in moments of reflective solitude that reveal the intricate layers of her emotional growth. She wanders through parks lined with amber leaves, sits quietly in bustling cafes observing the world around her, or rests by her apartment window, her gaze tracing the contours of the cityscape. In these moments, she contemplates the evolution of her relationship with Nick, the lessons learned from their past separation, and the ways in which both vulnerability and independence have shaped her current self. Her reflections are nuanced. She acknowledges moments of youthful insecurity, the fear of repeating past mistakes, and the courage required to open her heart again fully. Simultaneously, she celebrates the resilience, clarity, and confidence she has cultivated, recognizing that these qualities now allow her to participate in a partnership that is both deeply connected and profoundly respectful of individuality. Nick's internal reflections run parallel, equally layered and intricate. He considers the responsibilities he bears, not only within the family business but within the emotional fabric of his life, the ways he previously allowed pride or fear to dictate his decisions, and the deliberate effort it now takes to express love and care authentically. His thoughts often turn to Noah's growth, her unwavering determination, and the depth of her emotional intelligence, provoking both admiration and a renewed sense of responsibility to nurture their shared life. These introspective sequences are accompanied by cinematic motifs, sunlight glinting on glass surfaces, reflective water capturing fleeting expressions, distant city sounds blending with inner stillness, all heightening the audience's immersion in the characters' psychological and emotional landscapes. Secondary characters continue to influence the trajectory of the protagonist's lives in nuanced ways, providing both guidance and subtle challenges. Simon, having gracefully transitioned from potential romantic rival to wise confidant, offers perspectives that encourage Noah to articulate her desires, confront lingering doubts, and make conscious decisions about her life and partnership. Jenna and Lion, whose relationship embodies loyalty, humor, and resilience, provide steady companionship, acting as mirrors and sounding boards for Noah and Nick. Extended family members, initially skeptical of the rekindled romance, begin to display their acceptance through small but meaningful gestures, sharing meals, offering quiet words of encouragement, or simply expressing approval through approving smiles. Even minor acquaintances contribute narrative texture, the chance comment from a colleague, a friendly observation from a neighbor, or the light-hearted advice of a cafe owner all serve as catalysts for reflection, decision-making, and emotional reaffirmation. These interactions underscore the story's focus on the interconnectedness of human relationships and the subtle yet profound ways in which a community shapes and supports the evolution of love. The film gives particular attention to the symbolic and emotional resonance of space, revisiting locations charged with memory, significance, and layered meaning. Noah and Nick traverse streets that witnessed formative moments, linger in cafes where confessions were first exchanged, and pause at park benches that bore witness to joy and heartbreak alike. Each space is rich in sensory detail, the aroma of fresh bread mingling with the crispness of autumn air, the gentle rustle of leaves underfoot, the distant hum of urban life, the soft warmth of sunlight falling across their faces. These visits are as much about emotional navigation as they are about physical presence, serving as rituals of reconciliation, reflection, and affirmation. Cinematic techniques, soft focus, long tracking shots, and interplay of natural light and shadow, emphasize the convergence of memory and present experience, highlighting how past experiences continue to inform and enrich the present. Through these sequences, the narrative conveys that love is simultaneously temporal and spatial, thriving within shared memories, ongoing choices, and deliberate engagement with the physical world around them. Even amid domestic tranquility, challenges continue to test and affirm their bond. Minor disagreements over work priorities, household routines, or differing preferences are depicted with realism, emphasizing that sustaining intimacy and connection requires attention, dialogue, and compromise. These moments of tension are interwoven with laughter, playful teasing, and shared small victories, creating an emotional rhythm that mirrors real-life relationships. The narrative repeatedly underscores that love is neither effortless nor static, but requires conscious investment, empathy, and the willingness to navigate both conflict and harmony. Each resolved tension becomes a milestone of growth, a testament to the evolving strength of their connection, and a reaffirmation of their commitment to each other's emotional well-being. Professional life continues to intertwine seamlessly with personal development, reinforcing the multidimensionality of both characters. Noah's career trajectory, defined by creativity, strategic insight, and dedicated problem-solving, demonstrates her independence, ambition, and agency. Nick's engagement with his family business challenges him to balance ethical responsibility, leadership, and personal authenticity, while also demanding adaptability and emotional awareness. Collaborative scenes, joint decision-making, and mutual support reinforce the narrative's assertion that personal achievement and romantic partnership are not mutually exclusive but mutually reinforcing. Love, the story emphasizes, flourishes when nurtured alongside individual growth, professional engagement, and shared goals. Intimate dialogue remains central to the narrative's depth, offering insight into evolving trust, vulnerability, and emotional complexity. Noah and Nick articulate fears, aspirations, lessons learned, and reflections on past misunderstandings in settings that are serene, naturalistic, and emotionally resonant. Evening walks through quiet streets, cozy home interiors illuminated by warm light, and scenic outdoor spaces that encourage contemplation and connection. Through these conversations, the narrative demonstrates that reconciliation and sustained love are not endpoints but ongoing processes, reliant on transparency, empathy, and mutual commitment. Each dialogue reinforces the layered, deliberate work required to maintain a meaningful and resilient relationship. Symbolic closure is carefully woven throughout the story, both in physical revisits and in intentional gestures of care. The couple's reconnection with meaningful locations, thoughtful acts of affection, and shared experiences highlight the culmination of emotional growth, mutual understanding, and commitment. Secondary characters' arcs reach satisfying conclusions. Simon embraces his supportive role, Jenna and Lyon's partnership flourishes, extended family members offer their acceptance, and friendships are celebrated. These resolutions affirm the narrative's broader theme that love exists within a network of relational, social, and emotional interdependencies, each interaction enhancing and reinforcing the others. Finally, the story culminates in a vision of Noah and Nick's shared future, grounded in authenticity, balance, and deliberate care. They navigate life with attentiveness, vulnerability, and mutual support, embracing both ordinary and extraordinary moments with equal appreciation. Scenes of shared meals, collaborative problem-solving, playful interactions, quiet reflection, and celebration illustrate a partnership that is dynamic, resilient, and emotionally rich. Their love, strengthened through trials, reflection, and conscious effort, exemplifies the transformative potential of connection nurtured with empathy, awareness, and intentionality. The narrative closes with naturalistic lighting, layered soundscapes, and symbolic visual cues, leaving the audience with a profound sense of closure, hope, and enduring emotional satisfaction. As the seasons change, Noah and Nick's life together deepens in both subtle and profound ways, their bond fortified by the accumulated experience of shared days and deliberate attention to one another's needs. Each morning begins with a ritualistic grace, the soft aroma of brewing coffee, the gentle clink of cups and utensils, the shared smile across the kitchen table. These ordinary moments are laden with significance. Each glance, each gesture, carries layers of understanding, unspoken recognition, and a quiet intimacy born of time spent observing and learning one another. Noah, in these moments, reflects on the journey that brought her here, the trials that tested her independence, the periods of heartbreak that sharpened her resilience, and the courage required to re-engage fully with love. Nick observes her with a renewed awareness, appreciating the balance of strength and vulnerability she embodies, noting the deliberate care with which she approaches both her personal and professional life. Their playful banter, joking disputes over toast, teasing over coffee strength, or mock competitions over morning chores, serves as both entertainment and emotional calibration, reaffirming the shared intimacy of daily life while underscoring the work required to sustain connection over time. Noah's reflective moments become increasingly intricate, often unfolding during solitary walks through familiar streets or quiet pauses in sunlit parks. She contemplates the convergence of past and present, the youthful missteps, the lessons learned through separation, the growth that allows her to approach love with measured vulnerability and confidence. Her thoughts oscillate between nostalgia, gratitude, and anticipation, creating a tapestry of introspection that informs every decision she makes. Nick's inner life mirrors this depth, exploring his responsibilities, his emotional evolution, and the deliberate vulnerability now required to sustain a partnership that is honest, equitable, and nurturing. He examines how pride once guided his choices, how fear shaped his boundaries, and how attentiveness, patience, and empathy are now indispensable in maintaining the trust and affection they have rebuilt. These reflective sequences are enriched with visual and auditory motifs, sunlight glancing across reflective surfaces, the rhythmic flow of city streets, subtle background hums of daily life, immersing the audience in the characters' internal landscapes. Interactions with secondary characters remain vital, offering texture, contrast, and narrative propulsion. Simon, now firmly a trusted confidant rather than a romantic presence, continues to provide nuanced guidance, encouraging Noah to articulate her needs clearly and reinforcing the value of emotional honesty. Jenna and Lion, whose partnership exemplifies loyalty, humor, and mutual support, offer both light-hearted commentary and meaningful insight, serving as mirrors of relational health and models of balanced intimacy. Extended family members gradually reveal their evolving acceptance through subtle gestures, sharing meals, quiet conversations that reflect approval, and moments of collective celebration that validate the protagonist's choices. Even seemingly minor acquaintances, baristas, neighbors, colleagues, contribute to the story's texture, offering opportunities for reflection, inadvertent wisdom, or social context that shapes decisions and emotional responses. Each interaction, regardless of scale, reinforces the narrative's emphasis on relational interdependence, showing that love exists and thrives within a web of human connections. The narrative invests deeply in the symbolic resonance of physical spaces, transforming familiar locations into vessels of memory, reconciliation, and emotional growth. Noah and Nick revisit cafes where formative conversations occurred, walk streets that hold traces of shared history, and linger in parks where pivotal confessions and moments of vulnerability once took place. Each space is meticulously rendered with sensory detail, the warmth of sunlight on their faces, the faint rustle of leaves, the scent of fresh pastries mingling with crisp air, the distant murmur of life continuing around them. These revisits are not merely narrative callbacks, they function as emotional calibration points, moments where past experiences are reconciled, growth is acknowledged, and present intimacy is reaffirmed. Cinematic framing, tracking shots, interplay of light and shadow, slow pans capturing expressions and surroundings, heightens the narrative's immersive quality, reinforcing the themes of continuity, reflection, and renewal. Even amidst the tranquility of domestic life, challenges subtly emerge, serving as both tests and affirmations of relational resilience. Disagreements over priorities, minor lapses in communication, or contrasting lifestyle preferences are portrayed realistically, emphasizing that the maintenance of intimacy requires attentiveness, empathy, and negotiation. These conflicts are interspersed with laughter, playful interactions, quiet understanding, and shared achievements, creating a rhythm of love that mirrors the natural ebb and flow of real-life relationships. The narrative emphasizes that enduring partnership demands deliberate engagement, sustained empathy, and a willingness to navigate both tension and harmony with grace and mutual respect. Professional pursuits remain central to the narrative, highlighting the multidimensional nature of Noah and Nick as individuals. Noah's career, marked by creativity, strategic insight, and problem-solving, reinforces her independence and agency, while providing a backdrop for personal reflection and growth. Nick's responsibilities within his family business test his leadership, ethical discernment, and emotional balance, requiring him to integrate personal authenticity with external expectations. Scenes depicting collaboration, shared decision-making, and mutual encouragement underscore the narrative's commitment to portraying love as complementary to individual ambition and achievement. The story emphasizes that romantic connection flourishes when personal growth, professional fulfillment, and relational support coexist harmoniously. Intimate dialogues between Noah and Nick continue to reveal their evolving emotional sophistication. They articulate fears, aspirations, and reflections on past misunderstandings in settings that promote reflection and openness, evening walks beneath softly lit streets, cozy corners of their shared home, or quiet outdoor spaces bathed in natural light. These conversations exemplify transparency, active listening, and emotional reciprocity, illustrating the deliberate work required to sustain trust and intimacy over time. Through these sequences, the narrative communicates that reconciliation is not an endpoint but a continuous, conscious practice rooted in awareness, empathy, and shared growth.